It's like everyone is too good to be true. Let's take, for instance, guys, people, the average married couple out here, right? The people who you seen get married, and maybe some of you women, you said you saw somebody else when your friends get married, you say, why can I have that? You never want to get off into that, because if you look at closely at any person, place, or thing, you're going to find something negative. If you look for something negative on somebody, you're going to find it. To my married people out there, to my guys out there, so the so-called husbands out there, right? The woman that you married, that you had children with, the woman that you tell the world that you love, that you gave your marriage vows to. If you set these two people down in a psychiatric office, you don't even have to do all that. If you tell somebody, what do you not like about your husband, or what do you not like about your wife? I guarantee you in 0.0001 of a second, let's say it's a man talking about his wife, you would know exactly what you don't like about her. But you're going to pretend like, it doesn't exist because that's your wife, right? So everybody's fronting out here to a certain extent. It's like that whole song, Roses Really Smell Like Boo Boo, right? If you look for something that you don't like about somebody, I guarantee you 99.9% of the time, you're going to find it. It's kind of like that whole thing of, it's kind of in the same family of, stop explaining yourself to people who committed to misunderstanding you. It's like whatever you find, whatever you're looking for, you can find it. Let me do an investigation of my wife today. Let me get out a microscope. It's like this whole life is like, if I can sum up life, it's what is that statement? Making the best out of a bad situation. That's what this life is. I mean, whatever you do down here, you're just making the best out of a bad situation. I don't care if you're a celebrity. Whatever you do as a celebrity, you're just making the best out of a bad situation. That's all you're really doing. Because whatever you do, there's a good side to it, and then there's always this bad side to it. It's never like you do something and it's just 100% good what you're doing. It's never that way down here. That's why I always talk about this physical thing being imperfect, and that's why that's why it has to end. Because it's not. If it was perfect, it wouldn't last forever. If we were supposed to be married and tied down to a spouse, if that's what it was really about, then you will be married forever, and that will forever be your wife. That's why until death do you apart. That's why I'm comfortable being isolated, guys, because the thing that scares me most is getting attached to something that I know has to end. Y'all want to know my weakness? That's my weakness. I love my isolation so much. I'm so scared of being attached to people, places, and things, because I know it has to end, and I don't like getting my emotions attached to anything. I've been so used to being disassociated. I told you guys the other day I was messed up. I had a problem. I'm very disassociated from this reality. But I had to be that way. If I wasn't that way, I would have been destroyed. Now, it seems like I'm about to go into a season where now I have to let that go and go back to, being in my emotions again. I feel like a racquetball. That's why I tell you, if anything, I think what makes me better, people say, you think you better? Yeah, I'm better. Why? Because I can break down myself psychologically without it having to be forced out of me. I can tell you exactly. That's why I say, people talk about somebody was telling my secrets. Ain't nobody telling my secrets. No, people were telling lies about me, not secrets. I don't have no secrets. People were telling lies about me, y'all. That's worse, and that's worse than secrets. Lies. And the people who told the lies knew they had to tell lies because they knew I was the realest motherfucker they ever knew. That's why they turned on each other now, and part of them wish they were still dealing with me. Everybody that I dealt with from the past, whether it was friendship or relationship, wish they still had a piece of me. Every single last one of them. Not because of financial reasons, although that could be a part of it, absolutely. But just because they ain't never met nobody else like me before, and they never will. In a way, I feel sorry for these people. If I could help these people somehow, it would be to make, I guess, a clone of me, and then they can just deal with the clone, and then I can still go on my, go on my life. So they don't have to worry about, so they don't have to be thinking, watching me all the time, per se. But yeah, just to end it, y'all, life is, if I could describe life, man, in one statement, it's making the best out of a bad situation, man. For real, for real.